I woke up this time in time to go on a run. Guess what I found? It's the bean. Look at this nightstand. It's like invisible, but also not at the same time. For all directions, back from the run. Today it's gonna be more lectures, but only 10 hours, 5 hours, something like that. Hopefully I get to give a speech because I practice in the sauna, and I'll be sad if I don't get to give a speech. That's it. I'm gonna go do my homework. I had to do homework for this. Blows my mind. I haven't done homework for like 3 years, and so got this stack homework stuff. Said it's gonna take me 30 minutes, so I'm just gonna do it during breakfast. And that's it for right now. Good run, good cardio. No, once again, we're in a fancy room. Look at this. They got the corn and the cob buildings out the window. And any thoughts for the two viewers?
I like it. Very well done. Very well done.
Guys.
Yeah, this is all
MTV tours is the crib. We're going to my crib next. MTV tours again. Messy room, but it's big. And
yeah, your views just look like cute.
final and third room, the biggest one yet. Octavius is gonna show us around. You don't actually have to, but it got a bed, it got a fold-out bed, but it's huge. And we're on the 12th floor, and it's like, I don't know, it's just cool. Yeah. Beautiful. That is the final room. Okay, the event is done, so I'm going to do like a little breakdown of the stuff I learned. If you're watching this, it's not worth your time. This is just for me, but you know, if you want to, have at it. So, things that stood out. Politics is not something I want to do. At least campaign management. That's just seems chaotic, and the upside is not as good as running a business for the same amount of suffering. So I definitely know that is a better place of leverage where I could be a better net benefit to society. So yeah, not campaign management. Maybe someday running for political positions. But also that doesn't sound fun anymore. It kind of sounds boring. The one notable thing is that it's like track, football in high school, like those are the sports everyone went and played. But if you like did water polo or competitive diving, croquet or something like that, it was very easy to become the best of the best at that sport because there wasn't a lot of people doing it. And there's also a lot of people like who were very good at football, but had they decided to go do croquet, they would be better than anyone could even imagine. But they chose to use their talents where they could get more rewards. It seems like that's politics, is that all the football player equivalents are off playing business and making money, whereas your croquet players are your politicians. You could have much more qualified people if they decided to not play business for a bit, which is ideally what the founding fathers said. Like Thomas Jefferson says, like, to be the president is a public service, or any position of political being elected in that position. Political power is something you step down to. It's not really supposed to be powerful. Like he, for example, was like an engineer, I think. He also did other cool things like writing the Declaration of Independence, but he also like did the architecture for the Boston Capitol Dome, invented the swivel chair. He rewrote the original Gospels. I haven't read those, but like that seems like a smart person type of thing to do. And so I think being president for him was kind of like a downgrade, and then you get out of it 8 years later, and you're like, all right, cool, thank God we're done with that. So that's what I'm noticing, that if we had people, football characters, for the analogy's sake, in politics, they would probably like get in and get out and be sick of it and be done. But the overwhelming theme I'm seeing is that it's a lot of croquet players that do politics. And so it's easy to succeed in politics, but I also see why it's not very appealing to go do it. It's tedious, and you have to be motivated by not very noble intentions, I think. Obviously, there are people who have noble intentions, but to make it your career, like, if you're not financially stable in the first place, I don't think you could go into it not seeking financial compensation, not seeking personal financial freedom or personal power, because your power is dictated by that what people believe in you for. So you're almost like a fiat person. If you had money to back yourself, you have the confidence to do your own thing and say the things you want to say, knowing that if you lose the backing of the people, you can still say and believe what you want to believe. But if you don't have the backing of the dollar and you only have the backing of the belief of people, and they choose to disagree with you and you want to stand for your morals, it's very difficult because you would lose what makes you meaningful. Now, that's just one little tangent. The whole week has been cool. Had a good time. I want to move this. Oh shoot! Sorry, I can't move that. I'll just put it right here. It is. Oh gosh, that is like so dark. I would like. Okay, let's stop and start that. I'm getting so tired. I'm just like not saying words that make sense. So I'm gonna talk fast because then I might have the possibility to get this through fast enough that my train of thought doesn't cease to drive. So, see, I chose the wrong word already. Function would have been better there. Drive, I have more association with cars than trains. You drive a train? No, it just goes. Like, what word used to drive a train? Let's GPT that in a little bit, but I just got to keep saying words so I don't lose what I'm trying to convey. So, this week, and I did a new style of personality. Not like I changed things up very much, but subtle changes that if I was around my friends, they'd be like, hey, you're like acting different. Why are you doing that? And not that they'd be, negative about it, but they would notice. And I think for that reason, in social conformity, I at least would not change as quickly. I believe most people would also not change as quickly. And so coming to a new environment, new people all around, right off the bat, I changed the cadence of how I communicated. And normally when I'm around people, and if you ever know me from the past, which ideally you're the only one watching this, Chris, so hopefully you knew who you once were, and that's why I'm making this. You talked really fast. I would go up on stage and give speeches, and I would sound like Ben Shapiro was drunk. And so I said lots of things, and I said them in a way that they did not tie together. In fact, I would even give speeches. I gave this one at a church once about Forrest Gump and Kanye, and I talked about Forrest Gump, and then I didn't even talk about Kanye, and then I literally did not tie the Forrest Gump into the next theme, and so I just kind of like rambled about Forrest Gump for a bit, and then talked about Jesus, and they had nothing to do with each other. They might have in my head originally, but I never said the word that tied those two things together, and so people literally ask me, it's like, hey, talk about Forrest Gump, good movie. Talk about Jesus, cool guy. Why'd you talk about both of them? You could have just talked about one of them. Slowing things down is what I tried this time around. I listened to a podcast, Diary of a CEO. I don't remember who the guy was, but he really conveyed the idea to me that the slower you move and talk shows that you have more confidence in the position you are at, because if you're constantly going fast, it almost feels like you're getting away from where you are or the state of mind that you have. And so I walked slower, I responded slower, and that allowed me to respond better, I think. I use more pauses. There are some people who allowed me to experiment to this to a very strong extent. There was someone here who was very clearly like one of the most socially awkward individuals I've ever met, ever of all time. And so I, learned a lot from him. So I'm happy he was here. But some of the stuff he was saying, he was from California, and I would say like California, and this was like a Republican convention, and so he would be like hardcore, be like, no, it's California Republic. And I'd be like, okay. Anyways, and then I'd just keep talking. I would be sure to like give a solid pause. I don't think that was like trying to be mean to him. I was really just curious and experimental. And so that was one thing I think I got out of this, is that I think I can translate that slowness to other circumstances and not have people pick up and be like, oh, wait, why are you being different? Because I interact with so few people that have been consistently there in my background that this whole new round of friend making, it's better to start off slow and, maybe go fast later.
maybe slow's better in general if it allows for better thoughts. I'm getting tired now, so I might be going slow and not getting any benefit out of it. But it's definitely new for the way I used to communicate. So I guess the whole wrap up on this is that changing communication styles is far more easy to play the new character if it's a whole new cast. And I wonder if when I return to the old characters of a different TV show in my life, am I not going to fit in? Will have to change my ways to be who I once was in order to hang out with people I once thought were mine? I guess we'll know soon. Yeah. I'm getting very tired, and a lot of that probably didn't make sense. It honestly doesn't make very much sense in my mind as an entire cohesive construct, but it's kind of like driving a car from California to New York at night. Take lots of nights if you wanted to actually do that, but you could drive with your headlights on and only see 50 feet in front of you, but you could go like thousands and thousands of miles as long as your car could drive, keep putting gas in, keep driving and driving, but you only see 50 to 100 feet in front of you that whole time, and yet you still make it to your destination. So I guess it's important that in communication I set a destination, but then if we're going to recall the destination and it's a winding road and something exists that was a straight line, don't take the winding road. The straight line, I think, doesn't necessarily mean being monotone and not bringing the audience on a journey through story, cadence, emotions, pitch, variation. I think it's probably the most efficient way requires those things. And so whatever is the most perfect way of bringing a concept from your mind to another person's mind or lots of people's minds, just be as efficient as possible. Do not waste your time. So if you watch this, I don't know why, but that is what I'm thinking right now on this day, April 6th, 2025, 9:23 p.m. Whatever Chicago time is. I don't know what time zone this is, but yeah. This is the goodbye, at least for today, to the cool hotel room. Another thing I was going to think about, but I will not think about it anymore because I want to sleep. I was going to go explore Chicago tonight, and I ended up just going inside and looking at Robinhood graphs, stock trading, and some stuff, and got excited in some ways. Having a constant graph of like, oh, this is your net worth. It's going up today. You lost $100 in 2 seconds. Oh wait, it's back. That sort of thing. It feels a lot easier to save money to add dollars to that game because it's honestly kind of fun to look at. I'm sure I'll get sick of it in like a week, but for today, it was fun. And for tomorrow, I won't look at it. At least not until after I get back from a run, because I think tomorrow will be an important day for the stock market. But I'm going to go out and find some cool things. My dad used to live here when he was my age, so I'm going to go find his apartment. He told me it's like a mile away from where I am, so that should be exciting. So that's it for today. How long is this? Oh my gosh, this is the longest video I think I have uploaded ever of all time. Video number 77. Yeah, I can't think of anything longer than like 12 minutes. So yeah. If you're watching this because you're drunk, or I guess you stopped doing that, but if you are watching this because you are bored, comment again. I know you did that last time. So peace, everybody.